hard, and they are formulating their recommendations and we are sending to the government. और इसमें सारे लोग volunteer हैं. सबसे खूबसूरत बात इस क्लब की है, everybody is volunteer, working from this core of heart voluntarily for the improvement in the system of the government of Pakistan. Nothing else. कोई पर्सनल गेन नहीं, कोई पर्सनल बिजनेस नहीं है, जस्ट. और यही हमारी स्ट्रेंथ है कि वॉलंटियर होकर इस मुल्क के लिए काम करना. और क्यों, जब आप वॉलंटियर होते हैं ना, तो व्हेन यू स्पीक ट्रुथ, देन यू कैन फाइट अगेंस्ट इवल्स, देन यू हैज a courage to speak, because we don't care about ourselves, because we are not talking about ourselves, our community. हम कम्युनिटी की बात तो करते हैं, पाकिस्तान के लोगों की, पाकिस्तान की टेक्नोलॉजी में हाउ वी कैन हेल्प. तो एनीवे मैं इसी पे खत्म करता हूँ. और आई होप के मेहतायर ने आतिफ को इंट्रोड्यूस कराएगा या खुद ही करेगा. तो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद आतिफ. आतिफ, बहुत शुक्रिया आपका कि आपने सुबह इतना अर्ली ह्यूस्टन से हमें ज्वाइन किया. और इस तरह बिलाल का भी शुक्रिया कि उसने ये सारा काम जो है इनिशिएट किया. और एट द एंड ऑफ द डे आतिफ इज विद अस फ्रॉम ह्यूस्टन. थैंक यू वेरी मच ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ द पीसीबी टीम टू द Halliburton and as well as to Atif and Bilal Singh. Thank you very much Atif और Bilal. Please Tahir.
बहुत शुक्रिया सर, बहुत शुक्रिया. I think we can start the session. I will hand over to Atif. Atif, just please give us your brief introduction, and then definitely we will go for our today's topic, digital transformation for oil and gas sector. Atif.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Tahir Saab. Thank you, Dr. Saab. Let me share my screen, and then we will. Just want to make sure that everybody can see my screen. And
जी, आ गई.
Okay, Ji. Perfect. Give me a second. So everybody can see my screen, Ji? So before I start? Okay, very good. Thank you again, Ji. Thank you very much for the invite. It's a pleasure to be here. Hopefully the session, I will take around 35 to 45 minutes of discussion on energy digital transformation. And hopefully we should have some time if there are some question answers. I'll be happy to answer any of those. So just a little legal disclaimer. I thought that we are doing a digital transformation, so it is appropriate we start with a digital transformation value moment. On the screen, you can see this is a Gartner's top strategic predictions. They say that by 2023, the number of people with disabilities employed will triple due to AI and emerging technologies, reducing barriers to access, which means that people who... Yes, sir.
Excuse me, it's not visible. Sorry. Your slide is blank, actually. If maybe now you can see.
Now you can see? Okay, perfect. Perfect. Sorry. So as you can see on the slide, I thought to share a value moment, which is appropriate with the digital. So by 2023, the number of people with disabilities employed will triple due to AI and emerging technologies, reducing barriers to access. Through 2023, 30% of IT organizations will extend bring your own device. जैसे बहुत सारी organizations में आजकल है, in Halliburton में भी, you can bring your own mobile or laptop and they will connect to the system. It will be bring your own enhancement, which could be any enhancement to your body, which enables you to work. As you can see on the picture on the right, professional working in port, and which augment humans and workforce. I recently, I had the opportunity to spend some 2-3 years when I was studying in the university in New York. I saw news that a blind man did a 5K run with the help of AI app and a mobile in the Central Park. And I used to go to the Central Park for a walk every evening. And it's not a straightforward, straight line. It's quite up and down. So it's amazing what technology is enabling humans to do that. And similarly, technology is having the similar impact into the oil and gas industry. I have been in the industry for 20 odd years. And we will discuss those changes, what are happening right now. Before I go a little further, I thought just to introduce myself. I have been in the industry for 20 years. I started as a logging engineer, then I moved into software, then I moved to consulting. I have worked in different regions. I have spent quite a bit of time in Middle East, and then based in North America and US. I have had the opportunity to work with customers in South America as well, with Petrobras and Pemex, and then had the opportunity to work across the Asia Pacific side as well with Petroleum, with Kuala Lumpur and Indonesia and all. So I've been lucky to go through different educational development series over these years in different areas of technology. My primary focus within Halliburton is digital. Now I lead the digital group. My job is to work with customers, assist them, define digital roadmaps and digital plans for the digital transformation. I have been actively involved in digital projects and execution as well over these years. So some of the examples I will give in the presentation today. Okay, so let's see what are the you see on the screen is our industry is going through multifold challenges. Since around 2014, first with oil and gas industry downturn, which we all saw, and now with the COVID-19 pandemic. And COVID has caused more disruption than any other event in the industry. The impacts have had multiplying effects from one industry to another, so on. World oil market rebounds from this massive demand shock triggered by COVID-19, but still face a high degree of uncertainty that is testing the industry as never before. The forecast for the global, as you can see on the screen, and the demand could peak earlier than previously thought if a rising focus by governments on clean energy turns out in stronger policies. If you look on the graph on the left, it is quite clear that the short-term outlook is uncertain because of the fluid situation related to COVID-19. The result is less economic activity due to the less confidence of the market. Global consumption of fuels has improved, but as per all estimations, including the EIA, recovery will take around 2 years to get to the 2019 numbers, which was right before the COVID. After this, the consumption is to around 110 million barrels per day. The graph on the public GDP outlook, just before the presentation started, Dr. Said and I was discussing about decarbonization. And in this report, you can see in these graphs as well, it is slower forces shaping the global energy transition out till 2050. Why it is important it is very important for us in oil and gas professionals to understand this. There is a lot of ongoing and planned effort to decarbonize and for the energy transition. The project is based on 3 scenarios: rapid, net zero, business as usual. 3 scenarios over the next 3 decades. BP predicts a mix of energy sources, with fossil fuels reducing from 85% today to role of fossil fuels 60% in business as usual, 40% in rapid, and 20% in net zero scenario. Most organizations are targeting a mix of energy sources in their portfolio. The role of fossil fuels will continue as they will still provide more than 50% of energy needs for many decades to come. But there is a strong focus on net carbon reduction, and we see that every day in discussions and in the industry and on the policy level as well. On the right, renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, bioenergy, and geothermal are predicted to grow, especially wind and solar. The growth will vary by companies and by countries and regions. Overall, the message is that overall it is clear that there are multiple initiatives underway from market to technology to environment. Now, if you look at some of the disruption forces, as I mentioned earlier around COVID, there are these 4 disruption forces. Let's look at each one of them and to understand what are those and how they're impacting our industry. We were discussing that we are in the midst of an unprecedented time. There are 4 key forces I see as disrupting our industry. First, COVID, obviously. Most of all, COVID is more than an economic, it is an humanitarian crisis. 185 million people have been impacted globally, with 4 million unfortunate deaths across the globe. For oil and gas, it has a severe impact. COVID removed literally almost 20 million barrels off the market. Secondly, you see the energy transition, as we discussed in the last slide. It has been over a decade. It didn't start in 2020, but it has been over a decade since we are going through the energy transition. But COVID-19, environmental challenges, strict regulations have literally accelerated the process, and renewables, which presently are around 7% of energy mix, and are on track to be 40 to 50% by 2050. We are all familiar with the supply demand scenario. Our industry has been challenged by a burgeoning oversupply of crude oil-driven with the shale revolution, the battle between OPEC and non-OPEC producers, COVID-19 demand destruction, the supply-demand challenges. This all led to a deeply imbalanced oil and gas market. And of course, digital. Now, when we come to digital, this is a disruption force, but this is a positive disruption force. It's disrupting industry for better. And I will give a lot of examples in today's presentation, how it is impacting our industry for good and how we should be more focused on it and understand it better. So all of us on the call from oil and gas, we know that innovation has always been part of our DNA as an industry DNA. The oil and gas industry has been at the forefront of technology with operations in remote locations, drilling in subsurface with high pressure and temperatures, with accuracy of within few inches literally, and safety of employees in extreme and remote locations, in deserts, in extreme cold and risk weather. In the last decade, we have seen an acceleration in the digital transformation of the industry, with digital being a top priority for all oil and gas companies. And the objective remains the same. It is to improve efficiencies and to produce at the lowest cost per barrel through enabling technologies such as cyber automation, big data analytics. We will see, I will have more discussion on it today. Oil and gas has never had shortage of data. And we all understand, we never had, we collect tremendous amount of data. We, generate petabytes of data, but there are many studies and surveys that we only use 2 to 5% was used for insight, given higher revenues and profitability. Machine learning and artificial intelligence for assisted decision making, cloud, which is coming in, is a big play where we are now looking at zettabytes of data processing in the cloud right now. And I'm going to have more discussion through the presentation. Cloud is also becoming the choice of deployment globally in IOCs, NOCs, and we see that with our customers all over the place. And it's in order not to take the burden of infrastructure cost and maintenance. That is the general premise, because everybody wants to generate more value from their each barrel, whether it's private, public, or hybrid cloud, allowing operators to focus on actual value that they deliver from exploration to drilling to production. So these are some of the disruption forces. Digital is playing as a positive force in all of this. And if you look at, and out of these disruptions, there are few trends which are emerging for the market of E&P or oil and gas in general. The first one is the data, as I discussed. Now, it's not only the increase in data volume, but data is becoming more and more important to customers. They are starting to realize that they're not getting the maximum value out of it. There's a lot of siloed data which is not used, so more and more efforts are being pushed towards data, how we can generate value and insights from them to become better on our operations. So if we talk about initiatives like OSDU, I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. It's this Open Subsurface Data Universe. And as Landmark Halliburton, we are involved with it. The idea being that data is at the center of organization and we have to realize the maximum value out of it. So more and more initiatives are coming like that. Secondly, it's a democratization of data. Data should be accessible and available to everyone within the organization. We have all seen, and over the last 20 years I've been working in industry, I've seen the siloed data all over across the place. But more and more democratization and accessibility to data, everybody understands that more access we have, the more value we can generate. The second one is the cloud. And as I was explaining, we are also seeing our customers moving fast to cloud providers. And cloud providers like Amazon, Microsoft, they are more active in our space now. Halliburton, just like many of our customers, collaborating partnership our customers with cloud providers to innovate faster for our customers. Our focus is to provide highly customized solutions for our customers. And we are providing these cloud native applications. We are building them ground up, and I will explain them over the presentation. They are highly contextualized, highly customized to oil and gas only, and especially built ground up for the cloud. We are developing cloud native architecture and have a cloud first strategy. We have a cloud first policy when deploying, but our approach is hybrid, which means that we will support deployments on key cloud providers such as AWS, Microsoft, Google, but we understand that our customers' journey to cloud and is a transition. So we also deal with on-premises private cloud offerings, for example, Landmark Earth and all through partnerships, to be able to cater to all the customers from different situations they have to be able to utilize the benefits of the cloud. Third, we see the science. In terms of science, what's really driving the focus on data is to move towards not just analytics, but mostly predictive analytics like AI and ML. Halliburton, with experience of AI projects globally, we understand that the unique challenges of implementing AI in the E&P industry, and I will show some more examples, very interesting examples in the presentation. Finally, convergence. People and changing of skills. We see a lot of changing of skills right now. In Halliburton, we established our first big data center of excellence in the industry. And they're working on initiatives internally across Halliburton, but they're also working with customers on specific asset challenges that they face. Equally, we see oil and gas companies recruiting people with technology skill sets. And we also see the rise of what we call what is known as citizen data scientists. If you see, if you see on LinkedIn, you see a lot of people a few years ago who were, drilling engineers or geologists or geoscientists. They now show their title as geologists and data scientists, or drilling engineer and data scientists. These are called the citizen data scientists. And it's an amazing trend which is coming in. We see industry people changing and developing these competencies. In our organization, we are also doing this and support who choose to develop and support those who choose to develop their skills. And we also have supported them through data science programs as well as through internal training. We also We also partnered with customers in developing their internal competencies in the space. So we see more and more of this. So I will discuss more about our big data science of excellence center and how we are doing that internally and very externally with customers. Finally, around agile teams, we are transitioning from engineering off-the-shelf solutions to solving specific challenges for individual customers and assets. And we do this with a proven process that encompasses agile and design thinking practices. And I will talk a little bit about methodology later in the presentation, either it's on the design side, execution side and all. So I will have more discussion around that and how we are handling that and doing that. If you see on the screen, I thought it was very interesting to see that, we look at we saw the numbers, we saw the forecast, we saw the disruption forces which are impacting our industry. But from a digital perspective, I found this very interesting Ernst & Young survey that recently came in, which is digital is critical for everyone. I mean, if you see on the left side, you will see that despite the breadth of disruptive trends facing the industry, digital is critical to everyone and major focus area, and budgets are allocated for it. On the right, you see 20% planned small amount relative to their budget, and 29% great deal relative, 51% moderate. Overall, if you see on this, you see that almost 80% are planning to invest significant amount on budget in the digital. COVID-19, and on the right side, you should see, which is more interesting, is that COVID-19 or the downturn, actually both have positively impacted the digital investment for our industry. Thus showing that digital is critical to everyone. One of the other interesting survey item which was there, which I thought to share with you all, it also shows that respondents believe that increasing availability of data analytics, and insights has the greatest potential to positively impact their business growth. And we see this with our customers across different regions that they are getting more and more access to the data and using analytics to create more insights. So it was interesting to share with you. Now, before we go forward, let's just take a step back for a moment, right? And let's just try to create some context over here for the digital. Whenever we talk about Industry 4.0, and all of you have heard about it, all of you have seen this construct which is on the slide right now, and we talk a lot about it. Most of us are familiar with this construct. It's very well established. Talks about the progress, but let's discuss over how we progress with Industry 4.0 and how it's connected to us and as oil and gas. The generation right now we are in Industry 4.0. This is the generation we are currently in, which is the generation on cyber physical systems, Internet of Things, network, etc. Generation 1, which is about mechanization, steam power, weaving loom and all. Generation 2 was mass production, assembly lines, electrical energy, and I would also argue oil and gas, which created a lot of push for the generation to move forward. Generation 3 is about automation, computers, electronics. Generation 4, which we are presently in, is really about the combination of variety of factors, many of which are still evolving. Internet of Things, network, artificial intelligence, data science, nanotechnology, advances in computing itself, and many of these we are seeing that they are interacting with each other and playing out right now in front of our eyes and impacting our industry for good. That is why I was saying that digital is a disruptive force, but a good disruptive force. Let me just play this slide out. So just to make sure, okay. It's a very busy slide and I understand that, but let me just try to clarify this, and it's very important to understand how this all is playing out. And it's very interesting to understand as well. What is the underlying factors of these transformation drivers? As you see it on the left side, which we discussed about the progress of 4.0, there are three compelling factors which drive these transitions in my view. First is the multiplicative effect. Now, these are the elements, they come together to drive transformation like steam, iron, textile chips, PCs, internet. In each evolution from 1.0 to 4.0, there have been factors that have come together, combined in unique ways to drive the transformation. 4.0 is about industrial IoT, cyber physical systems, big data, cloud, artificial intelligence, deep learning, nanotechnology, advances in computing itself. Many of these factors are playing out in their effective combination into unique solutions. Second factor is the open interoperable system. Now, this is very important to understand. This is critical to drive transformation as well. For scale, remember, whatever transformation happens, until unless it doesn't get to a certain scale, it does not create that lasting change. So it's a key tenet, interoperability of 4.0, that systems interoperate. What does that mean? And we are seeing that play out in IoT and physical devices being connected to each other, ability of humans and machines to interact. We see that in factory floors where humans and machines are interacting, and that is not a one-way communication, it's a two-way communication. Open interoperable systems rely on connectivity, federation, and integration. Without this, scaling is very, very hard, as I explained earlier. Finally, third, the most critical transformation. In terms of resources, human capital is people. All of us, all of us who are on the call, part of the industry. Reskilling, training, bringing the workforce for the transformation, as we saw in the market trend slide. Together, all of this creates a transformational impact from one generation to another. Throughout this presentation, I will highlight and show how Halliburton Landmark is bringing all of these factors on digital transformation journey we are on with our customers and how they are impacting our industry broadly. Let me just put the slide. Okay, let's relate it to the E&P. Now we discussed about, what is Industry 4.0, how it came together, what was the, how from one to another, what are the factors. Now let's relate it to E&P and oil and gas, right? If you think about it, to get an X value chain adoption at scale on digital anywhere, the industry has to see transformation across multiple areas. And each of those areas are rapidly transforming through combination factors. In the technical domain, you see downhole automation is leveraging significant advances in sensors, camera technology, storage, and compute. Similarly, advances in nanotech, material science are helping change how and what can be done with chemicals in both downstream, upstream use cases. Across the business domain, you are seeing in finance, M&A, vertical integration are all seeing the impact of advances in the creative financing, asset sales, de-risking of CapEx versus OpEx through subscription models, all points transformations at play. To get X value chain adoption requires combinators. Without it, most technologies, business models do not scale. Second, in open collaborative platforms, we see a lot of activity in platforms. And these days, everyone seems to have one platform. Some will survive, obviously, some will thrive, and some will not. We see Amazon, Google, they're all entering the space with a declaration of open platforms. But this remains to be seen how valuable they are for the E&P and how open they are. Keeping aside the technical merit of each platform, what is important and interesting to see is the fact that open collaborative platforms are essential fabric or engine that drive transformation. They need to adhere to standards, they need to scale, and they need to drive down total cost of ownership. Otherwise, they are expensive, they have bespoke technologies that are short-lived, and there are many, many examples to that. Third and most important is co-innovation. And I will go through it later in my slide, what is co-innovation and how that is impacting, which is about bringing together skills, not raw talent, but skills. And we are witnessing that in our industry, as I explained, that we are transitioning to this technology plus domain expertise into new roles. And technology experts are working together, and they're all working together to solve these big, complex C&P challenges at the moment. Okay, so far, reactive to predictive workflows, what does that mean? So over these last 20 years when I was in the industry, I've seen this play out right in front of my eyes as well. I've been into the current state of industry so far has been reactive, right? And we all can see it in different roles wherever we are, either we are a geologist, a reservoir engineer, a production engineer, or wherever we are, we see these reactive where most of our operations were measure, diagnose, and execute models. Pretty linear process and with minimum room for maximum optimization. The key component underpinning these models are, and if you look at the components, what are those components which are underpinning? They are like closed architecture, which means that the systems are so closed, they are not open architecture, not able to interact with other systems outside them. Generally, the development process or any changes, we go through a waterfall development process, which is long lead, costly, and if you make errors, they are very, very costly. And then you see these models in terms of architectures are on-prem. You see these, the contractual engagements are the partnerships which are there. There are no partnerships. There's like a low bid contract mechanism. If you want to engage with other partners, it's very, very difficult. Sometimes, because it's a low bid cost mechanism, this is more service focused and mostly are offshore development. There is no concept of developing together, but this is changing now. This is shifting to a proactive model, as you can see on the right side of the screen. Now, this proactive state is a closed loop system, and this is with continuous optimization and efficiency gains. And there are many examples within Halliburton. We can discuss many examples which there were systems how they change on the well construction side, from design all the way to execution, and how we created it in a closed loop to be able to create these efficiency gains, which is possibly, and this was all possible, as I explained, due to these new technologies. Remember the discussion we were having on the IR Industry 4.0, that all these factors are coming together, which is cloud, mobility, big data analytics, edge computing, smart sensors, and extra. They're all coming together. And the key components, now this is very important to see over here, the difference between the state where this was reactive to the proactive. The key components in the reactive or the predictive workflows is it's an open architecture, which means that the system can interact, they're interoperable, they can interact with other systems. It's an agile development platform, which means that it's no more of waterfall. You can take a small chunk, you can develop, fail fast, correct it, get the feedback, go back again, low cost, high efficiency. It's integration capability. They are mostly cloud native architecture. The contracts are value-based rather than the low cost. Value-based that, okay, this is my task, what is the value we are generating and who can generate more value. The models are more based on partnership rather than service provider. Okay, you are my vendor and you will only provide service and then you go away. No, this is partnership where we come together, we jointly work on something, we jointly take the responsibility and jointly deliver those value-based contracts which we have. And technology and domain expertise are merging together, as I explained earlier on. And then the talent transformation process, one of the key items which I will keep on honing, this is very, very important, because without the talent transformation process, we cannot have a successful digital transformation in any area. So most of these are coming, all of these are coming together. And they're coming together, and what is the value they are creating? There are ideas like designing a well in a day, right? And most of us who are in the industry for long and engaged in designing a well, we know that this could be a process which could run from 3 months to sometimes in 6 months process. And now we are reaching to the point where there are goals like, design a whole well in 1 day, right? All because of this proactive systems. You can upsurface models in seconds, because of the compute power and the systems available. You have reductions in the total cost of ownership, all above to 50%. And at the end, lower cost per BOE. So I've talked broadly on a macro level and on the technology, but let's see how at Halliburton we are doing that. And at Halliburton, as I discussed earlier, we are also in the midst of a technological revolution. And last over a decade almost, we have been engaged in half a decade, we are literally changing our applications ground up. And it's accelerating this technological progress and increasing productivity and efficiency. At Halliburton, we are very much hard at work to build these systems that make it possible to access real-time data, information throughout Halliburton to drive actionable insights and drive value. These systems have the ability to making decentralized decisions on their own and reach a high degree of autonomy. We have tools like iCruise and for drilling, which are literally based on the autonomous car model, and they can go and reach to the target by themselves using this data and all, and AI. Our approach, and this approach, what we have taken, we call it Halliburton 4.0. Halliburton 4.0 unlocks the potential to structurally lower costs, shorten the time to first oil, increase optionality in exploration and production, and enhance performance across entire value chain. At the same time, we are bringing to market practical, smart, interconnected products and services that help unlock value for us and our customers. We are leading and pioneering new approaches to subsurface understanding, well construction, and reservoir recovery. We are confident that we are ahead of our competition. It takes time to build a scalable software and hardware infrastructure to fully capitalize on this. It takes quite a bit of time, and I explained to you that we are into it from over a decade now on this journey. We have been building our digital capabilities for a number of years, and we are uniquely positioned to help our customers with the digital transformation journey. We have hundreds of customers around the globe who are, leveraging our iEnergy digital ecosystem. And I'll discuss a little bit about it, how iEnergy is changing. It's an Halliburton's hybrid cloud offering. And the reason I'm showing you is I'm connecting it back to what we have discussed early on, the progress to Industry 4.0, and how all these factors are coming together, changing the way industry is and changing the companies, service providers, and technology companies like Halliburton to be able to adopt to that. And broadly, this is happening across the entire value chain. Now, all of these digital technologies, what is the objective for them? They are all geared towards, there is one objective, broad general objective if you look at it, and that objective is the representation of the asset. No matter what part of asset it is, let's talk about the broader general asset, and to create a digital twin, and to accurately characterize the reservoirs, to perform proactive asset management, and for drilling and production optimization, and to maximize recovery from these assets. This has become ever more crucial in the current era, where companies need to be carefully determine how to best invest and maximize profitability over the life of the asset. Now, digital twin is not a new concept, and most of you understand it, and it has been in the industry and different industries for a very long time. But for oil and gas, because of all these technological components, it is becoming a reality for us rather later than sooner. It is a virtual, what it is, it's a virtual or digital representation of a physical entity, and has been heavily used in other industries. In oil and gas, we have built models or virtual twins of all levels of all assets, the subsurface with the rocks and fluids, the wells and the completions, the surface facilities, onshore, offshore, with platform risers, etc. However, generally this was done in more of a passive fashion, where updates or modeling and analysis was done by, step by step by engineers. But that has now changed. It's requiring the formation of evergreen digital twin, where so far from the passive to evergreen digital twin, where the spread of planning, modeling, and analysis must happen at the speed of operations, and for the fast, agile culture is very important. The industry cannot afford a passive approach anymore. That's what I believe, and the changes we saw and the challenges we have. Proactive management is needed, as we saw in the reactive to proactive one, in both ongoing operations and maintenance, as well as planning for the further field development to both optimize the short-term and long-term delivery from the oil and gas assets. This is relevant in all types of assets, mature field, offshore, deep water, unconventional, and all types. Now, if you want to develop these digital twins, now we talked about the Industry 4.0, the factors impacting, the technologies coming together, and how this is accelerating. And now we have come to the point where, and we talked about reactive to proactive. Now, if we really want to do this, we want to reach to this digital twin, the underlying architecture is a critical prerequisite, as you see on the screen, a visualization of it broadly. Here you see the layers of enabling technology or foundational components. First, it is important that the data is abstracted from the application. So, to be able to access it easily, rather than stuck into some application somewhere in siloed, right? So that, any application can pull data from any data source available for analysis. That is log data, seismic, or hard data coming directly from sensors. With the ability to process data on-site through IoT and edge devices from any other data sources. At the level of data integration you see on the screen, The platform needs to be agnostic to the data source. It has to be agnostic. It cannot be a closed loop system, as we saw earlier on in the presentation. Having the ability to ingest data in real time and from historical data sources, or a mix of both. The data can be visualized directly or fed into models for model updates or further analysis. Up till very recently, our industry has been focused on developing first principle or physics-based models, and we all have been doing that. And we've been using that for optimization and all. But now there is a significant work ongoing in development of statistical and data-driven and machine learning models. What's new and exciting is the merging of these techniques into a hybrid model of physics and data-driven models. And they are generating deeper insights for us. They are guiding us. And there are many examples I can give you from our customers across the region. Broadly and globally, we saw that using the first principle and these statistical machine learning models. And that is all possible. Why it is possible? As I discussed early on, it is possible due to the interoperability concept I discussed with you early on, and the processing power which is available to us through the cloud compute. And open architecture which enables this interoperability, which enables this interconnectivity. And providing end-to-end connectivity in a closed-loop system. And this is literally a system of systems approach with the ability to scale and bring about cost efficiency. The modeling has been done historically in most of the time, and we have seen that. This modeling we do that in a siloed application for analysis with each step. However, now integrated solutions are needed to get a holistic picture of the asset or operation and optimize it in its entirely during the phases of all asset life cycle, from characterization to development to production monitoring and optimization, with understanding of both the short-term and the long-term impacts during the entire life cycle as we go through it. So, in all I have discussed so far, in addition to that, at Landmark Halliburton, we see these four as the foundational framework components to enable digital for any organization. And broadly in industry, you see these play out as well. For us, talent transformation is the key. As I explained to you that we are supporting our organization and people who want to move and acquire new skills in terms of data science or in terms of technology. And that is the key for foundational pillar in terms of moving the digital transformation forward. And co-innovation is another one where we need to be able to, rather than offshore development somewhere, co-innovation is to work closely with the customer, and I'm going to have a discussion around it, what it is and what I mean by it, and we call it smart digital, to be able to work in an open and interoperable way. Then you need to have a platform which is open in terms of architecture and able to connect with these systems to be able to talk and analyze and generate these insights. With that Landmark, we have the decision space. And finally, you should have the flexibility or openness to be able to partner with for the innovation. Either it's technology, either it's other partners, and you see that more and more coming into the industry right now. On the Halliburton front, or other providers or other players in the industry, you are seeing that they are all coming together jointly on different efforts. And I'm going to show you one effort where OEC opened up. I'm going to show you where we have become part of the community to build something which is amazing, and we are using right now, and the whole industry is using. So these foundational pillars are literally key components enabling the digital to go forward. As I was explaining to you early on, with Halliburton, we have developed what we call a digital sciences center of excellence. Right now we have two global centers, one in Houston and one is in India. We have almost the first initiative which, 7 years back when this was established, it was the first data science excellence center. First mandate of the center was to be able to work within Halliburton across the globe and infuse this data science practices across our own organization. And this center of excellence is done there globally with Halliburton folks who now actually are part of this excellence center and working for our customer on different artificial intelligence or AI projects globally. Interestingly, we have 50% of the workforce in the center is women data scientists. Most of these comes from mathematics, statistical, computer science background, who are working on these challenges with our. And there are I've explained that there are 400 trainees which we done internally. So we develop these programs. Now remember, these data science programs are not like generally you get online. These are highly contextualized for oil and gas. We focus on the problems on drilling, geosciences, predicting NPT, predicting stuck pipe, or predicting some equipment failure on artificial lift, and we have examples of that. Are different challenges which are very, very highly focused on oil and gas. We have 6 partners globally, and this center is working across the time to helping our customers. This is part of the skill development and skill transformation which I explained to you guys earlier. In terms of the co-innovation service, as I explained to you earlier, that the model for the service delivery needs to be changed as well. It needs to go from the waterfall to the agile, because cost is the key element, time is the key element for the industry as well. So smart digital, let me blow this up. Smart service, it's a new infrastructure to the industry. What is the objective? Objective is to accelerate the ideas which our customer had on their digital innovation. How we do it, we provide our methodology which is proven. We have been developing software for over 40 years. We bring that. We bring the technology, we bring the platform, including the space, our energy, open earth. This is the modern software development environment. We bring all of this together, and we bring a skilled team of people from our teams who develop these software, who are domain experts. They work with the customers in a jointly fashion. Let me just show you how that is different. Traditionally, if you see over here on the left side on the graph, traditionally, what was happening was that all the development was being done offshore, right? Some product manager would come to the customer, talk to them, understand their problem, go back to somewhere offshore, across Atlantic or wherever, and these development centers are all over the place, right? And they will go and develop something, and they will push the release, and either they will exceed customer expectation or not meet customer expectation, and that has been done for a long, long time. How the service is different now, the way we are doing it, we, together with our customer, together with our partners, we form a team working on premises with the customer to be able to develop very specific digital challenges or digital innovation they want. The idea is to generate these digital outcomes as fast as possible, number one. Number two, we have noticed that for these challenges which we are facing right now, they require more and more customization and skill development as well. So it's not only about developing something and just giving it to the customer and moving away. It's a recipe for failure. But developing something with the customer while you are developing the product, you develop the skill set as well. Once you go, customer can easily take on to their development and take the software to the next level on these customizations. It could be plug-in, whatever. So the vision for Smart Digital Co-Innovation Services really to work collaboratively with our customer and really harness the full potential of the solution and demonstrate on the E&P business. So, and we have done this. This is an example I wanted to bring to show you that using the Smart Digital Service, Co-Innovation Service, using the skill development, which we have, I keep on talking about, that how important it is that new technologies and new skills are to be imparted into our teams. We have been so far able to, literally touch almost every single area on the oil and gas, and we have done projects across with our customers. And there are many case studies we can go into each one of in detail around drilling and production and reservoir, around geology and geophysics. We have these, and you see on reservoir exploration, completion, HSE and competency even as well. So you can see these examples which are playing out now, and they're becoming better and better and better. Another thing which I talked quite a bit about is being open, right? Open in terms of collaboration. I think open in terms of collaboration, open in terms of partnership. Now, this Open Earth Community, OEC, this is not, I just want to be very clear, this is not something owned by Halliburton. We do not own this. This is a community which was built with industry players together. Halliburton is part of the founding players. Our commitment to this openness is, we demonstrated this Open Earth Community, and this is also central to our digital strategy as well. This is a free, global, and open community of scientists, engineers, software developers in oil and gas companies, service companies, software providers, data vendors, technology developers, committed to produce, and they're all committed to one thing. They are committed to produce great digital solutions. And the community membership is free. Any one of you can go to OEC and can register and can start participating. This is open and shared E&P software platform. As Landmark, we have contributed to it. other partners. Let me just show you the next slide. Right now, we have 400 plus companies on this platform. This is a beautiful example of collaboration within the industry. And if you notice in these logos, they're not only oil and gas companies, but you see the technology companies and OEM vendors involved into that as well. They're all coming together, and service providers, they're all coming together to develop these software solutions. There are more than 3,000 participants right now. There are 600 industry projects which are working. You can be a private project and a public project. Private project is something which you just want to do it for specific challenge. You don't want to share it. Public is one. You can, develop and share it with others as well, so everybody can benefit from it. There are over 24,000 APIs which are available right now, and you can connect for many, many different challenges. This is a beautiful example of open collaboration, open earth community. And I would highly recommend all of you who are interested in development and all to go and see it and get registered on it. Secondly, the power of compute and the cost efficiency. iEnergy is one of the, it's not only, it's a unique, it's a citizen development environment, I call it, not a, it's a cloud solution, and it's for the creation and deployment of all the E&P solutions, right? This is open hybrid cloud platform, which literally enables fast and easy regional deployments anywhere in the world while complying with local regulation and data storage requirements. And most of the countries specifically for oil and gas, the requirements are pretty strict, and we are able to deal with them or cater to them because of the way the model it is, which is the hybrid. And it provides the freedom, it provides the scalability of application, of deployment and management across private, public, or edge cloud environments. This experience platform, it's literally I call it an experience platform, right? Both for Landmark and for developing solutions, and for the customers who are utilizing these solutions. And it's not just a platform for solutions only, but a community, literally a community with access to our R&D, customers, support, technologies, paper, articles. You can find all of that. Right now, you see there are 100 plus deployments across in 20 different countries, and you see different logos of customers who are right now using our key partners. You can see there as well. One of the good thing about it, one of the key concerns when we talk to customers across the region and across globally is security, and for right reasons. So this is a SOC 2 compliant, which is literally highest bank-graded security you can have for your data. So you have an ease of mind in terms of bringing your data to the cloud and utilizing the power of cloud to be able to do these amazing new innovations for your challenges. Okay, so what you see on the screen, literally, this is, and I would like you to pay more attention to this screen because this brings everything together. When we started our discussion, we started about collaboration, integration, interoperability, the platform, the compute power, the AI ML, and utilization of data science. How bringing all this together is quite a bit of a challenge, which the industry sees. What you see is pretty unique in terms of what Landmark Halliburton has been able to develop in last years to be able for the customers. And this literally culminates everything we have discussed so far. That you have heard a lot about digital technology, software, service capabilities, but what makes Halliburton Landmark unique and why it's leading the E&P industry, to be fair, is the preferred digital partner is our end-to-end platform. This is literally end-to-end platform, which you see on the screen. But please remember, on the left side, I want to be clear. I want to make this highlight clear again that the Open Earth community, this is not a proprietary development platform for Halliburton Landmark. We don't own it. This is a community platform, right? We are part of the founding members. We have been a program manager. We do all our development on it, but we do not own it. The left side, which you see, is the Open Earth. So we use that community as well. And we are among the founding members, as I explained. And as I explained earlier, it's an open community to lower the cost of developing and escalate and improve the pace of innovation, right? In the middle, you see the DecisionSpace 365 or the Landmark suite of tools. There is a direct link with OEC, Open Earth Community on the left. And DS365, which provides quick, powerful, and very unique capability. Not only you can develop petrotechnical applications on Open Earth, we can integrate them with existing market-leading Landmark products, whether it's GNG, reservoir management, or drilling products. Because one of the challenges is that you already have a great amount of investment into those products, and what do you do with that? So you can literally connect back to those applications as well. That provides ability to our customers to develop and innovate applications for their unique challenge. integrating with landmark suite of applications they use either to solve a specific challenge they have or improve. As landmark, our objective is to provide this unique capability to our customers to solve their unique petrotechnical problems. The last powerful capability Halliburton Landmark offers is the iEnergy platform, which I discussed briefly in the last slide. Not only our customers can build the open earth community by integrating the solved challenges, they can literally utilize Landmark iEnergy platform to deploy in the cloud environment and in any environment, as I discussed earlier. This is very powerful if you think about it, very powerful capability. Because in the past, where developments used to take time and wait for release and production for months and months, now depending on the application, this literally could be done in weeks and days and seamlessly, just click of button. So Open Earth Community, the CNSpace 365 application, iEnergy, cloud, they are truly transforming the development, the workflow, the consumption for our customers, and they're accelerating the innovation in the most time and cost-efficient way. And utilizing this on the screen, I thought that there are many different projects, and you see this on the left side from Kuwait Integrated Digital Oil Field. I have been engaged with this project personally for over 5 years, right from starting off it. I led it for many, many years. And there are these different activities and projects and this is an ongoing project with Kuwait right now. You see on different areas, we are able to use these different pieces of puzzle, as I explained to you, from IR 4.0, either it's the cloud, data science, or these are components, bringing all these together, are the edge devices on the end, or real-time data, bringing and helping customers on different challenges across the globe. And of course, we can go into details of each project. If you are interested, we can do that one-to-one. But I just wanted to bring just to share with you that this is literally helping customers across the board on different challenges they are having right now. I mean, I was talking about the competency development, and I keep on stressing a lot about that. And very recently, a year back, and I was directly involved in this one, where we have partnered with Aramco, and we are literally working with them in terms of skill development on the artificial intelligence, on data sciences, and machine learning. And these are highly contextualized trainings and programs and competency programs in terms of oil and gas, highly focused on that. There are groups of people who are drilling engineers and geologists, and they have their own examples. They code accordingly, and they have the examples which they follow. So they can literally go back in their environment and continue to create those amazing innovations for their own groups. So my concluding slide, if you have, there are a lot of companies come and talk about it. And from Halliburton perspective, where I stand and my colleagues are, if you have recently visited our website, you will see very interesting thing. On the website, the first thing you see is that we openly proclaim, right? We say the future of energy is digital. As a company, we proclaim that this is how we see the future. This is what we believe, and this is what we're building. And if you go and click on it, or if you come and talk to us, we can explain to you how much impact that is creating for customers, in terms of efficiency. You can see 80% reduction in the well design time. I was talking to you early on that from well execution, design to execution, it's amazingly changing that. There are, only in 2020, there are 70,000 remote interconnections. Only in 2020, we saw 1,000 plus terabytes of uploaded data and all. So all these factors, all these components are coming together and impacting our industry for the better. So thank you very much. I hope that was useful. I hope that something, some ideas were thought, but feel free to reach out for any questions. Reach out to me or my colleague. I'm more than happy to discuss and answer them. Thank you again for your time.
Thanks, Atif.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, the session is open for the question and answer, and whoever want to ask, please first of all just introduce yourself and then you can ask the question. Okay, Sadakat, please.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Walaikum assalam.
Good to see you after a long time.
Atif, very good to see you, man.
Yeah,
yes, we had memories in Kuwait.
We had very good memories in Kuwait. Yeah, very good to see you.
Thank you very much. Actually, thank you very much for a very insightful presentation.
Actually, before you go ahead, I would like to say that the one concept I was explaining about citizen data scientist, and I would not hesitate to say that you are a good example of that, where you have really transformed yourself into this next zone, where you brought your knowledge of domain and engaged in the data sciences, and now you are working with your teams in Aramco to do that. So amazing job, great.
Thank you. Seems like you've been following me on LinkedIn.
Yeah. No, not only following you on the LinkedIn, I engage in Aramco one-on-one, so
okay.
I know. Yeah.
So first of all, my name is Sadakat Ali. I work in Saudi Aramco in the Exploration Application Services Department, and there are many colleagues from Pakistan we have here. First of all, Atif, thank you very much for a very excellent presentation, very insightful actually. I have actually a couple of questions based on the slide number 6 that you had, which showed like 4 disruptive forces, which was COVID, energy transition, supply and demand, and digital.
Yeah.
So my question is related to the 4th disruptive force there, which was digital. So this is specifically, in terms of Halliburton. So what you can see is that, as far as digital goes, there are 2 main components. One is the data science itself, and one is OSDU. So when it comes to the data science platform, there are 2 options. One is to actually go with the open source tools, which most of the IT organizations are very reluctant to go to. So, some of the companies have adopted some kind of, like a data science platform which is out there, which caters for all 3 layers of, you can say, the citizen data scientist, plus the developer, plus, somebody who is purely going to, do the data science in the Python world, right? So, what is your take on this as far as Halliburton goes? And let me complete the question for the OSDU also. Now, one of the aim of the OSDU is to decouple the application from the data. If that is if we take that as a truth, then what is the future of OpenWorks? Thank you.
Okay, no, great questions. Both of them are great questions. Coming to your first questions, if you go back and see some of these applications which we are developing, either on the GNG side, or reservoir side, or production, or drilling, we are providing that ability to be able to make those customizations. And we understand that those customizations are not to be done only by the R&D. When these citizen data scientists who are working with the groups, they have to make some adjustment or changes, they should be able to do that. And most of these are newer applications. You will see the Jupyter books and notebooks we could be easily accessed on the fly, and they can do the code and make those on the fly changes. Either they are working with us or they're working independently. So most of these newer applications, we have provided that openness. OSDU, the second one, we are fully committed to it, totally fully committed to it. Even on the OEC or other applications, we have provided access to it. It's part of our strategic thrust. In terms of what will be the open wells future, when technology comes in, that is why we are changing. Our industry is changing. A lot of our applications will change. I don't want to say that some will go, some will stay, which are going to stay or which are not going to stay. But eventually, more and more we've advanced. The objective for any company, and let's say from Halliburton, our objective is to provide the maximum value to the customer. And that if that customer value is in a certain effort, then we will do it. For example, OpenWorks versus OSDU, and it's a great question. If you look at OEC, right, Open Earth Community, let me tell you right now here that majority of our development has moved on it. Imagine it's a community driven. And there used to be a time when this development used to be in a dark room somewhere, in a steel room, nobody can come and access the building. You know it. I mean, you have been part of it. Accessing R&D was a challenge, right? You have to go, it's like a presidential building. And now we are an open platform where we do all this development. So yeah, these changes are part of it. Thank you for the questions. Great questions, actually.
Thank you very much. That answers my question.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is from Rizwan Latif. Rizwan.
Thank you, Mohammad Alam. My name is Mohammad Rizwan Latif. I'm associated with the University of Engineering and Technology, Lahore, Petroleum and Gas Engineering Department, and I'm working here as lecturer. Thank you. Atif, first of all, I would like to congratulate you for a very good presentation. It is really futuristic in nature, and it does open up many critical insights into how should all of us who are engaged to the E&P industry in one way or the other, they should start thinking and start working towards a digital future. So my question is also of an academic concern because I represent the academia. Over the past decade, we have seen that the demand of the industry from a fresh graduate, it has transformed from simply talent to skill set. Industry has been going towards the norm that anyone who is up for a job in the E&P industry, whether it's the services sector or it's the operator side, he or she should have some skill with him or her so that he can be brought on board. So with all of this transformation that we have seen and the pace at which we have seen it come over the last 1.5 years or so under the umbrella of this COVID-19 pandemic. So what do you think out of all the immense experience in the industry and your insight into the future, what do you think that apart from getting their hands on and fluency in using software tools, what other skills do you think that students who are graduating from universities with petroleum and gas engineering majors and they are going to serve as reservoir engineers and drilling engineers and production engineers in the industry? So what skills do you think are important, critical for them to survive in the industry? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rizwan. A really, really great question now, and I'm glad you asked that. And it's a very important question. And one of the things which I end up meeting a tremendous amount of young people, and when I see them, especially on these forums on SPE and all, when I interact with them, and there are two things which I bring to their attention always. And one is that, and you are absolutely right. Majority of if I'll be honest, majority of our educational system across the globe has been designed for the industrial age, right? Where they were trained into a certain subject and they were supposed to do a certain task after whenever they get the job. And that industrial age has now moved into an information age and to the digital age. So while they get their degrees done, either as petroleum, geology, geophysics, whichever, which is important to have that fundamental domain knowledge, I believe that it is critically important to be able to develop some skill set around the technology as well. And they can choose anyone. There are many technologies available. They can pick up AI, ML. I was giving an example of Sadakat, who kind of moved away from being a geoscientist, not moved away, but developed from a geoscientist to a senior data scientist, and now an organization. Yeah, evolved, yes. Evolved is the right word. Very part of a very, very important organization like Aramco. His teams listen to him and he leads them and he works with them. So the newer fresh graduates should not only rely on the degree, but also develop those technological 1 or 2 skills, bring them before they come to the market. Second most important, the days of repetitive tasks are gone. So one of the things which every young student needs to develop is the critical skill. Critical skills in terms of critical thinking. They need to really and in this industrial era, educational system never kind of focused on the EQ side of the house, right? We call the emotional quotient. Now that is required more than ever because more and more tasks are being automated, digital technologies are on the rise, interoperability on the rise. So what are we expected to do? We are expected to be able to collaborate more, interact more, listen better, understand our customers and their challenges because there are 10 solutions available. So I would say that 2-3 of these things, if every student should enable themselves while they are working on their domain degree, whichever it is. One is the technology, one is the critical thinking, and the emotional quotient side of the house. So they are ready for this ever-evolving market when they join it. And most of the time, there is one thing which I find in students that, especially oil and gas, they are really disheartened that, oh, what is happening to industry? There's nothing left. No, there is a lot left. Trust me. Oil and gas is a major driver in human race, and it will continue to stay for many decades to come. The question is how you want to evolve and how you want to be part of it. That's the question. Thank you for asking this one, a good question. I hope I answered.
Okay, Atif, I just had some good question with just clarification. Thank you very much. It was a great session. I thought I will sit here for 15 minutes. Every minute I was just going out and saw there's some interesting slides are coming. So I have to sit here after 1 hour. That's something great. I like the 2-3 points in your session in this slideshow. First is the open earth community. I like this great idea, and this could be a good opportunity for us from Pakistan, from different institutions, whether it is from universities and from the other institutions, so that we can participate in this open earth community, because a lot of people are there, and I think we can get benefit out of this great option you have. I just like to know, please, can you explain how we can participate into it and how we can get a benefit from this good opportunity we have?
You are absolutely right, sir. This is a great opportunity, and on a personal basis, if a student or if one of the persons want, they can just go on the website and register. On a corporate level, and it's free. It's totally free. If you want to do it at a university level or at an organizational level, then we can really help. Bilal who leads this for the region, could connect with you and help and what is required and guide you through the process of bringing the organization onto the fold. But for anybody else, it is free to register. You go there, you just register and start utilizing it. And there are free software and technologies available. You don't have to create a development environment literally on your computer or desktop. It's already there. All you need to do is the will to develop and innovate. And not only that, as I said, 24,000 plus APIs are there. And there are projects which are there already developed. As an example, you can see those projects and maybe you can make them better. And tomorrow you can make a product out of it, right? And have your own product. We could, for individuals, it's free. For organization, if you need more guidance, yes, we can guide. And Bilal, who leads the region, could literally help you and guide you through the process.
Very good. Thank you very much. The other just clarification I like to know is from the transformation of talent. How we can do it here? We need to transformation of this talent. As everybody needs, every nation needs, but we need more than anybody else.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I mean, as I was explaining you about the Center of Excellence, which we had early on in the slide. Let me just go back to there. So, this one. So, in the Center of Excellence, when we Halliburton established 7 years ago, one of the main objectives, and that was the same objective we had, was that, okay, the industry is changing, the market is changing, the challenges are changing, we need to change our workforce, right? Not every time you can go and hire more and new people, right? You have to work on your present one. So the first thing we did was to run these programs internally within Halliburton all across the globe. And all of us, including myself, we went through those programs. There were, starting level, advanced level, intermediate level, advanced level, wherever people's interests were. Not everybody is interested to become a data scientist or technologist. Who were, they become one and they become part of it. So within Halliburton, we did that. We run the whole campaign and do that. With customers, we have these programs where we work with them and we truly want to understand what their challenges are, and then we customize and develop according to them, and we do these programs. And now we literally have, internally within Halliburton, we have these recorded sessions of most of the programs, and they are all available on iEnergy, where people can go and just, watch these training programs on and on to be able to develop themselves. So if on an organization level, yes, we can work with you to be able to customize and develop, to be able to develop that skill development for your organization, specific organization and challenges, we could do that.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Tahir, if somebody has any questions, so that we can finalize this program.
Just before closing, I have a few comments here, especially for the students' transformation. As Dr. Saab you mentioned that students are our future. And when I was in Pakistan in last 3 years, what I noticed that whenever I go to any university like Bahia University, Qaid-e-Azam, or any other, I talk about machine learning and what you guys are doing from the new innovation side. I do not find any new work is happening, unfortunately. So, in my opinion, I think this is the right time. We should emphasize to empower our new students who are coming in the industry or who want to learn the new things, because industry is really changing and we need to help the young generation to adapt the new technologies and new way of working, because the total way of working is now is moving into new direction. That's what we need to do.
Yes. Thank you very much, Bilal. Anything else? I think there's no more question. We like to. There's one question, Mr. Ahmad Ghafoor. Ahmad.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Saab. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. Thank you, Atif. This was a great session, actually. I'm based in Saudi Arabia. I'm part of Schneider Electric. So you already mentioned Schneider. So I'm part of their software group already for last 14 years. My question, one comment only, which I know from Landmark in the past. When Landmark came to Pakistan, they came with a big bang, actually. There was a big hiring, big group, actually. Which I don't remember the year, but 2003, 4 or something. The way they came, they vanished the same way from Pakistan, actually. So there is no big investment plan in Pakistan as of now. What is your strategy for Pakistan in this case? You know,
Bilal, I would, thank you for the question. Bilal, I would move this question to you. I mean, you have been leading the country, and
No, I can give the comment. I think it's a good question. The reason I think my friend is actually a little bit confused between LMKR and Halliburton Landmark. Halliburton as a landmark has been working in Pakistan since long time, and I was leading the business since 2017 till 2019 there, and we have hired lots of new young generation. We trained them, and we actually hired the data scientists as well. And we trained them in Oman and many other countries, and now they are based in Pakistan. And same is the case for other domains too, like drilling engineers, data geoscientists, and others as well. We have established business in Pakistan, and we are working with a lot of customers there. So anytime if you have any query, please let me know. We have a dedicated team and a business happening with the customers.
Thank you, Bilal. No, my question is actually related to main like on Excellence Center, because then I was thinking back in 2003, the way you invested, you were going towards establishing an Excellence Center in Pakistan, but that's what we don't see as LMKR, because I was in touch as part of Schneider as well.
Ahmad, I think that is different. That is LMKR probably you're talking about.
Yes, sir. So LMKR, the DSP is, that's right, Doctor. DSP and all this is coming from LMKR side. It's not Halliburton actually. That's why my question is main on that group of Halliburton, which is LMKR in Pakistan actually.
Yeah, so let me tell you one thing. I can give a comment here. It's if you're talking about the Center of Excellence, is still there. I think even in LMKR right now there are more than 300 people sitting there developing the softwares for landmark technologies in drilling, IMPT, GNG domains. And we actually, as a Halliburton, because LMKR is a part of Halliburton as a contractor, so we actually differentiate in a way that now we have multiple data centers and R&D centers. One in Poland, one is in India, one is in Houston, and one is in UK. So it's like a more of a diversification kind of level. But for your answer, for your question, it's the answer is yes. It's still there is a big team working on the technology center and lots of people working there.
Okay, Minaz sir, you got hands up probably.
Dr. Saab, बहुत शुक्रिया giving me some time. Excellent presentation. I really enjoyed it. Fantastic, beautiful, futuristic, whatever you call it. It's great. No, in fact, I'm sure to make it more like appropriate for our community. I mean, we have people here which are with a bit more, I would say, classical mindset and all that. So this machine learning models and data-driven models is becoming very popular in the industry, and and for people here in Pakistan especially, who are not used to these models, it might be in fact perhaps a future session, or if you can just say in few words, differentiate between conventional models, which are like analytical or simulation models, versus data-driven models. And the biggest problem that I have faced, in fact, while working in many different places, is the acceptability of data-driven models. And because they don't really immediately relate with the physics. Okay, so that's one question. My second question is with little bit different, that in this open system, what is in it for Halliburton? How does Halliburton kind of generate some revenue or get any benefit from this open system?
Okay.
Two different questions
okay.
for you.
Okay, thank you very much. No, these are good questions, very good questions. So coming back to, what is the benefit for us and how do we do that? And the first question, as I understand, is that we have the first principle physics models, and but these data models are not that reliable, and how do we deal with that? And
no, it's not reliable, but it's basically how do you create acceptability of these models? They are reliable because they are driven from the data. In fact, they are actually more reliable. They are already history matched in a way. Okay, so the question is, how do you create trust of people of these models?
Correct. Okay. So, I mean, going back to the first question, when we are dealing with the data and creating those insights, fundamentally it all depends on our first focus is on the data and the quality of the data. That is the first step we go through. And there is a whole process and steps involved how we do that and ensure that the data what we are dealing with, which will generate those insights for us, is the right data and the quality of data is okay and the parameters are okay, and that is generated based on those first principles. And then we run those mathematical or analytical or machine learning models to be able to generate those insights out of it, right? So data quality is the key to it. Now, most of the times, I'll give you an example with one of the customers. They gave us these around 50, 60,000 DDRs, the daily drilling reports, and these daily drilling reports were, some of them were digital form, some of them were not even digital form. They were just PDFs, right? And if you are in drilling, you know that these daily drilling reports, sometimes people put their own little comments and shorthand writing. So we literally have, and the customer wanted to generate some insight out of it in terms of understanding non-productive time. And we literally have to create a dictionary for those, shorthanded writing, which we incorporated into our system for the accuracy of the model and the insights which we get. So to answer your question, we have to really work on the data and the quality of the data first to be able to go there. And now we are at the place where we can have the first principles and the data coming together as the hybrid models to be able to do that. Now, the second question, what is in for Halliburton? The objective for these open systems, and Halliburton's objective is that the changing industry, as one of the colleagues have mentioned in here that maybe one of our application is going to go away, our software is going to go away. But end of the day, our goal is to be able to provide the best value to the customer. If we can do that, either that value is in terms of interpretation, either it's value in terms of well design. Let me give you an example on the well design. Well design is a process that generally takes around 3 to 6 months. Most of the customers we see, we have literally dropped it 80%. Now, that 80% drop in the well design created tremendous amount of value for our customer. But in return for Halliburton, it did create a tremendous amount of value where our other technologies come into play. And of course, the value is for the customer, the value comes back to us as well. So we are continuously looking for those avenues where we can generate that value. Because end of the day, if we can do that, either it's like, for example, I'll give you an example, one more example. I started my career as a mud logging engineer, which is a very basic mud logging engineer where I'm responsible for, interpretation of whatever the cuttings are coming from the while we are drilling. And then I moved into the logging side of the house, logging while drilling. And while doing that, one of the top job I had, or the most critical was the check shot service to make sure we are heading towards where we are supposed to head, right? And recently, last year, Halliburton has introduced a tool called iCruise, and I would highly encourage you to go and see on. that iCruise can literally run automatically using AI to reach to the point. Now it literally cuts down the job which I was doing.
I have seen those in Aramco. I've seen those in Aramco. In fact, one person basically controls maybe 10 different rigs. Yes.
I know, and a lot of jobs, for Halliburton.
That's right. Yeah.
Imagine, Minas, that a lot of jobs for Halliburton are gone, right? Different. But that creates tremendous amount of value and accuracy for the customers. And in return, it creates tremendous amount of value as new tools and technology for Halliburton. I hope I answered your question, yeah?
Okay. Anybody, any question from any side, please? Just within few minutes, we are going to close, please.
I think we should have some questions from Pakistan. People ask questions from Saudi Aramco, which is out of Pakistan.
Aknas is from Pakistan.
We are from Pakistan, sir.
Yes, everybody is from Pakistan.
This group is Petroleum Club of Pakistan, all of us.
Yes, very good. That's something great. Anyway, मेरे ख्याल में there's no more question. I really express my gratitude to the management of Halliburton, particularly Mr. Atif Rabbani and Bilal Saeed, who has coordinated us with Tahir organizing this webinar. Thank you very much again for such a nice, impressive presentation. I hope in future we will be coordinating and arranging more webinar on the new technology and the digitization and other component of the E&P sectors, even overall energy sectors, human resource development, whatever we can do with the respect with regard to the Halliburton cooperation. Thank you very much, Atif, again, and thank you, Tahir, for arranging such a very nice, informative webinar, and thanks to Bilal. Aapka bhi thank you very much to Bilal Saeed. I think he is in Oman now in these days, and for such a good coordination and having a very nice, good webinar. Thank you very much. And I also express my thanks to all the participants who really who are the real asset for us, because without participation, every seminar and webinar has no value. So we encourage our people, we encourage professionals from Pakistan. They should participate, and even from the outside, like Ahmad Ghafoor was there from Saudi Arabia. So people should participate, should listen, because this is the only way to enhance our knowledge and to enhance our understanding about the new activity and new dynamics of this life. Thank you very much, Atif, again, and Tahir and Bilal and everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ji. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You want to say anything?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Ji.
Okay.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.